We're back with some breaking news this morning on the war in Ukraine, where the death toll is still climbing after Russia broke weeks of relative calm with a new wave of airstrikes. Okay, so there you heard the siren ringing out in Kyiv for the first time in 51 days, where we're told missiles and drones were shot down. But this video that you're seeing here is actually from the city of Uman, a couple of hours south of Kyiv, where a missile hit a residential apartment building here while people were sleeping. At least 19 civilians are now dead, including 3 children. Search and rescue efforts are ongoing at this hour. I want to bring in NBC News correspondent Ellison Barber live for us from Uman, Ukraine. Also joining us right now is Michael Allen, former member of the National Security Council, former special assistant to President George W. Bush. He's also managing director of Beacon Global Strategy. So great to have both of you here with us. Let me just start with you, Ellison, and the latest reporting. What's happening there right now? What can you fill us in on?
Yeah, Anna, you played that sound of air raid sirens. It's something, if you spent time in Ukraine in the last year plus, you're very familiar with it. But as you said, it's something that in a lot of cities, people have not heard for quite a while. This is the largest missile attack Russia has launched on the country in about 2 months. Here in Uman, this is an area where there are just active, frantic efforts to try and find any survivors left behind in the rubble. This apartment building, this is where that missile hit this morning. You can still see some of the smoke billowing up from the basement. Speaking with the spokesperson for the services and the search and rescue teams that are here on the ground, they say right now the plan is to stay hyper-focused on trying to clear out the basement and see if there are any survivors or if they need to recover any additional bodies. Then they're going to try to make their way up towards the higher floors. This was a 9-story residential building. The floors up near the top, you see, we're told 3 of those floors just almost instantly collapsed, as well as the basement area. We were speaking to one woman who told us her daughter and grandchildren lived in this part of the building, and she said the majority of the apartments were set up in a way where this side that's all gone, those were in a lot of instances bedrooms. This happened at about 4:30 a.m. That means a lot of people were sleeping over here, and we'll walk a little around some of the cars because there's a lot of movement again as people come here to try to get information on the other side of the building to try and recover what belongings they can. Back in this area, there is humanitarian aid set up for survivors of this strike. There are also horrifically a lot of people here waiting, trying to find out if their family members have survived. Some people over there have already gotten word that some of their family members did not, and now they're waiting to find out about others. Rescuers on the ground, they tell us that they are still hopeful despite all of this destruction, despite so much of this building looking like it's something that would be impossible to survive. They say they're still hopeful that they might find survivors. They expect to be here for hours searching through this building alone. Russia is claiming they were targeting military structures in the last few days when they've struck different areas. They've said they were targeting areas where there were some reserve deployments that Ukrainian military officials were using. But having been on the scene, having spoken to quite a few people in this area, and you can look with us again all around here, all of this, Anna, everything you see, these are apartment buildings. It is hard to imagine that there was anything here it's hard to imagine there's any truth to what Russia is saying at this point. Everyone we have spoken to, we have seen children, families, young and old, who lived in this building or knew someone who lived in this building. And now people are on the scene waiting really all around, just desperate for any sort of answer, praying for good news, even as the death toll just continues to climb. Anna?
It is so heartbreaking to see those images. What are you hearing from people there about this sort of renewed violence after relative calm in that area specifically?
You know, it's startling. One thing in Kyiv is you'll get the sense when you're there sometimes that you have these moments of what feels like absolute normalcy. But when you talk to people who live in these cities that are further from the front lines, they will tell you they know it is a temporary feeling because something like this can happen at any moment. And that's the constant fear in Ukraine for people who don't live right along the eastern front, is that Russia has spent so much time targeting other cities by air, by missiles, that they know that sometimes it feels like they're just random and that it can happen anywhere. Remember in the winter, and our team was here in November as Russia had started their very aggressive air assault on energy infrastructure in Ukraine, and it was just constant air raid sirens then. That slowed, so there was a bit of relief, a bit of normalcy, but most people here will tell you they know that that's temporary, that it's not real, and this right here is an unfortunate, horrific reminder of how quickly things can change in this country, even if you think you are far enough from the front lines. Anna?
Allison, thank you so much for that reporting. Again, it's just hard to fathom what it's like to live there right now. Want you to go get safe, so we'll say goodbye. Let me bring in Michael here. As we looked at those images, Michael, and heard her reporting, what do you think is going on? Is this a new offensive for the spring?
Well, first, I think it's a reminder of the barbarity of the Russians. They usually launch attacks like this to try and break the will of the Ukrainian people, to condition them, perhaps for earlier peace talks. That always fails, by the way. But you know what? I do see this as part of the coming Ukrainian offensive directed at Russia. The Ukrainians have been hitting fuel depots and critical supply nodes within Russian-held territory. And I think the Russians are trying to hit back, show that they still have some fight, because what's coming soon is this absolutely critical spring offensive where Ukraine desperately needs to make a lot of progress, and especially in the south of Ukraine.
I just want to hit a few of the other headlines that have come up out of Ukraine in recent days. You have the city of Bakhmut, where fighting continues. That's to the east. You have attacks on a Ukrainian museum. You have troops beginning training on Abrams tanks. Where do you see things right now when it comes to this battle? Is there one side winning the war?
So the battle in Bakhmut is pretty much the only big battle that has been occurring for the last few months, mostly because the Ukrainians have been waiting for their armor, their other weaponry and ammunition to arrive from the West, and for all the training of the soldiers to be complete. So I think they're about ready to go and broaden the battlefield tremendously. Bakhmut has been a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, I think, for the Ukrainians. They have worn down the Russians, but they also have lost tremendous loss of life throughout that process. And I think it's time for a different phase of the war where the Ukrainians can make more dramatic progress to bolster their prospects in the West, where people need to be able to have the confidence that if they spend additional money on Ukrainian armaments, it's going after a good cause.
Obviously, people want to see peace, want to see this resolved, and we understand that President Zelensky had a phone call with China's leader, Xi, this week. Zelensky calling it a long and meaningful call. Xi's been trying to position himself as maybe a peace broker in this situation. Do you see that being realistic, especially given China's relationship with Russia?
I don't see it as a realistic opportunity for China to get in and play a role in eventual peace talks. I know they want to. I know they want to be a player like the United States. They want people to ask over time, not just what does Washington think about an issue? They want people to say, what does Beijing think about a particular issue? So I think that's their game. But I also know that the intense diplomacy toward the Chinese right now is do not send lethal weaponry to the Russians. They've come up to the line several times. We, the United States, have publicized the intelligence that they were thinking of doing it. And reportedly, they've backed off so far. So that's a huge objective of Zelensky and President Biden. Hey, China, don't send lethal weaponry to the Russians.